In the heart of Bergen, Norway, lies a mystery that has perplexed investigators, journalists, and amateur sleuths for over half a century. On November 29, 1970, the charred remains of an unidentified woman were found in the Isdal Valley, also known as Death Valley, a remote, haunting area with a dark history. What followed was a bizarre investigation filled with coded messages, multiple aliases, and whispers of espionage. This is the story of the Isdal Woman, one of Europe's most chilling unsolved mysteries. It was a cold Sunday afternoon when a man and his daughters stumbled upon a grotesque sight just off a hiking path. They had been enjoying a peaceful hike through the serene, snow-covered forest, the kind of day that makes you appreciate the beauty of nature. The air was crisp and the snow crunched under their boots as they walked. The father, a local resident, often took his daughters on these hikes to instill in them a love for the outdoors. Little did they know, this particular hike would be etched into their memories forever. The body of a woman, badly burned and partially hidden under a pile of rocks, lay twisted on the forest floor. The sight was shocking and horrifying, a stark contrast to the peaceful surroundings. The man quickly shielded his daughter's eyes and called the authorities. The body was so badly burned that it was almost unrecognizable, and the scene was eerily silent except for the distant calls of birds. Her clothes, jewelry, and even her labels had been removed or destroyed. It was clear that someone had gone to great lengths to ensure she could not be easily identified. The investigators noted the meticulous nature of the crime, suggesting that it was premeditated. The lack of identifying features made their job much more difficult, and they knew they were in for a challenging investigation. Near the body were scattered belongings, a broken umbrella, partially melted plastic bottles, a fur hat, and sleeping pills. These items seemed out of place in the forest, adding to the mystery. The broken umbrella and melted plastic bottles suggested a struggle or an attempt to destroy evidence. The fur hat and sleeping pills hinted at a possible backstory, but without more information, it was all speculation. But there was no purse, no identification, no name. The absence of these crucial items meant that the investigators had no immediate leads. They would have to rely on forensic evidence and any potential witnesses to piece together what had happened. The lack of identification was a significant hurdle, but the investigators were determined to uncover the truth. Police soon realized they were dealing with something far more complex than a suicide or accident. The scene was meticulously staged, and the condition of the body suggested foul play. Detectives began to comb through the area for any clues that could help them identify the victim and her assailant. They collected samples, took photographs, and documented every detail, knowing that even the smallest piece of evidence could be crucial. The investigation was just beginning, and the detectives knew they had a long road ahead of them. They would need to unravel the mystery piece by piece, following every lead and examining every detail to bring justice to the unknown woman. Investigators traced a pattern of hotel check-ins by a woman using multiple fake names and passports. This mysterious woman seemed to have a knack for blending into her surroundings, effortlessly adopting new identities with each new location. She was a master of disguise, her appearance and demeanor changing as frequently as her aliases. Each check-in was meticulously planned, leaving no trace of her true identity. The hotel staff remembered her as polite but distant, never staying long enough to form any real connections. She had traveled across Norway and Europe using at least 9 aliases. Her journey spanned several countries, each with its own set of challenges and risks. From the bustling streets of Paris to the serene fjords of Norway, she navigated her way through Europe with remarkable ease. Her travel routes were carefully chosen to avoid detection, often taking her through lesser-known towns and cities. She was always on the move, never staying in one place for too long. Her ability to evade authorities was nothing short of extraordinary. Her luggage was found at Bergen railway station, containing wigs, foreign currency, and cryptic notes filled with dates and abbreviations. The contents of her suitcase painted a picture of a life lived in the shadows. The wigs suggested a need for constant disguise, while the foreign currency indicated extensive travel. The cryptic notes, filled with dates and abbreviations, hinted at a complex network of plans and contacts. Each item in her luggage was a clue. but none provided a clear answer to her true identity. The investigators were left with more questions than answers. All labels had been removed. This deliberate act of erasure made it nearly impossible to trace the origins of her belongings. It was as if she had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only the barest of clues. The absence of labels was a stark reminder of her meticulous nature. She had thought of everything, ensuring that no detail could lead back to her. The investigators were dealing with someone who was always one step ahead. Even the fingerprints revealed nothing conclusive. Despite their best efforts, the forensic team could not match her fingerprints to any known records. It was as if she had never existed. This lack of evidence was both frustrating and intriguing. Who was this woman who could slip through the cracks of the most advanced investigative techniques? The mystery deepened with each passing day, and the investigators were determined to uncover the truth. Witnesses described her as elegant, well-dressed, and mysterious. She had an air of sophistication that made her stand out. Yet she was always careful to avoid drawing too much attention. Her clothing was stylish, but not ostentatious, allowing her to blend in while still maintaining an air of mystery. Those who encountered her were left with a sense of intrigue, unable to shake the feeling that there was more to her than met the eye. She was a puzzle wrapped in an enigma, and everyone who crossed her path was left wanting to know more. She often asked to change rooms. This behavior was unusual and raised suspicions among the hotel staff. Why would someone need to change rooms so frequently? Was she trying to avoid being tracked? Or was there another reason for her constant relocations? Each room change added another layer to the mystery, making it even harder for the investigators to piece together her movements. It was clear that she was always on guard, never allowing herself to become too comfortable in one place. She rarely spoke to others, and when she did, it was in a mixture of German, French, and broken English. Her linguistic abilities were impressive, allowing her to communicate just enough to get by without revealing too much about herself. This mix of languages added to her enigmatic persona, making it difficult for anyone to pin down her nationality or background. She was a true chameleon, able to adapt to her surroundings with ease. The more the investigators learned about her, the more they realized how little they actually knew. The search for her true identity was just beginning, and it promised to be a long and challenging journey. At the height of the Cold War, some believed the Isdal Woman was a spy. The Cold War was a period of intense geopolitical tension between the Soviet Union and the United States, along with their respective allies. During this time, espionage was rampant, with spies infiltrating various levels of government, military, and industry. The Isdal Woman's mysterious death in Norway in 1970 has led many to speculate about her true identity and purpose. Was she a covert operative caught in a dangerous game of cat and mouse? Norway's proximity to NATO operations and the secretive behavior of the woman fed the theory. Norway, being a strategic location during the Cold War, was a hub of NATO activities. The country's rugged terrain and proximity to the Soviet Union made it a critical point of interest for both NATO and the Warsaw Pact. The Isdal Woman's presence in such a sensitive area, combined with her use of multiple aliases and coded messages, only added to the intrigue. Her movements were meticulously planned, and she seemed to be constantly on the move, avoiding detection. The coded notations in her diary may have marked military movements or rendezvous. The diary found among her belongings contained cryptic entries that have baffled investigators for decades. These notations, written in a code that has yet to be fully deciphered, suggest a level of sophistication and training consistent with espionage activities. Some experts believe that these codes could have been used to track military convoys, naval movements, or even clandestine meetings with other operatives. The precision and detail of these entries indicate that the Isdal Woman was no ordinary traveler. Others believed she was fleeing from someone or something. The theory that the Isdal Woman was on the run from a dangerous entity is supported by her erratic behavior and the numerous disguises she employed. Witnesses reported seeing her in various locations, often looking over her shoulder as if she were being followed. Her frequent changes in appearance and the use of false identities suggest a person in fear for her life. Was she a defector trying to escape the clutches of a ruthless regime? or perhaps a double agent whose cover had been blown. Some hotel workers said she was seen meeting unknown men. The Isdal woman's interactions with mysterious men in various hotels have fueled speculation about her connections and activities. Hotel staff recalled her meeting with different men, often in hushed conversations that seemed to carry an air of urgency. These encounters, combined with her secretive nature, have led some to believe that she was involved in clandestine operations. Were these men fellow spies, handlers, or perhaps adversaries trying to extract information from her? Others claimed she looked frightened or depressed. The emotional state of the Isdal woman, as observed by those who encountered her, paints a picture of a person under immense stress. Witnesses described her as appearing anxious, frightened, and at times deeply depressed. This has led to theories that she may have been under duress, possibly coerced into her activities or facing threats to her safety. The psychological toll of living a double life, constantly on the run, and the fear of imminent danger could explain her distressed demeanor. But if she was being watched, who was watching her? The question of surveillance is central to the mystery of the Isdal woman. If she was indeed a spy, it is likely that she was under constant surveillance by both her own handlers and enemy agents. The presence of surveillance equipment and the meticulous tracking of her movements suggest a high-stakes game of espionage. Who were the players in this deadly game, and what secrets did the Isdal woman carry with her to the grave? The answers remain elusive, shrouded in the fog of Cold War intrigue. In recent years, new technologies have reopened the case. In 2017, forensic isotope analysis revealed that she likely grew up in southern or central Europe, possibly Germany or France. Facial reconstruction and crowdsourced tips led to dozens of potential identifications, but none have been confirmed. The Norwegian podcast helped bring the case back to global attention. Yet the biggest question remains: who was she and why did she die alone in the woods of Norway? Some say the woman was mentally ill and chose to disappear. Others say she was assassinated. The spy theory continues to dominate forums, with many pointing to government cover-ups and missing police records. Despite decades of investigation, the Isdal woman's real name, her origin, and the cause of her death remain unknown. Her DNA is stored, her story told and retold, yet she remains a ghost without a past. Perhaps that's what she wanted. Thanks for watching this deep dive on. If you enjoy unsolved mysteries, true crime documentaries, and historical deep dives, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Let us know in the comments. Who do you think the Isdal woman really was? Stay curious. And until next time, this is Dailytopia.